morning. Welcome to Brandenburg News Network. I am Donna Brandenburg, and it's the 8th day of January 2024. I have to work hard at that because, it's like I'm on so many days in a row. Now we got to change the year out and update everything. It's amazing. So I want to welcome everybody here. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and so much going on. I'm going to tell you what, the Republican Party in the state of Michigan, I got a lot to say about that right now because I'm under a massive amount of attack, which is really kind of funny to me because you know what? I just got to say is that we do not protect criminal behavior. And Melinda Pego did the right thing. They all did the right thing. And so now these people are fighting for their lives in the background. But you know what? We do not protect things that are wrong. I don't care if we're afraid to move forward in another direction. You can't just say, well, we're going to take the lesser of the two evils because evil's still evil. And if there's behavior that is not correct going on, you have to go after it. As a CEO, that cut for me would have been made months ago. And I just have to say that I'm really thankful for Melinda stepping up. And it's just not Melinda. It was Melinda and everybody else that stepped up to address some of the problems that we're seeing. You do not have somebody nominate you and then all of a sudden give them, $75,000 to $90,000 in on no bid contracts on something they would have never spent the money on. This is how the government works right now. And this is one of the things that we're fighting. So if we think we're going to do things differently by continuing that same behavior, we got nothing. Right. So congratulations to everybody who had the guts to step forward. You did the right thing. And I'm interested to see how this plays out. And please, everybody, keep attacking me out there. I find it fun. So you can attack me all you want. And all you did is just gave me a great day. And I'm screenshotting everything. This is all documented, and it's going to be more and more and more fun. Well, with that said, I'm going to bring my guests on, Barbara Day and Maria Wagner, and I'm very excited to talk to these ladies. So I met Barbara down at Mar-a-Lago, and we had a wonderful discussion down there about Grammy Grizzlies, and also Maria Wagner. And so we're going to be talking to both of these today because Maria, you're involved with Moms for America. And Barbara, you're Grammy Grizzlies, and this is so fun. I love it. So good morning.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, so before we got on, we were talking about having a lot of stuff in common. So Maria, you're starting a dog walking business or a dog something a dog business. I'm into horses,
Well, I got a lot of horses around me now because we moved from the Chicago area to Tennessee.
Oh.
But it was back in Chicago that I had my own in-home dog sitting business for 8 years, a very successful business. And I had like 5 or 6 running around all the time.
There's nothing happier in the whole world, I don't think, than having your family around and your pets and such, because we just all of us love our pets. And it's just, that's wonderful. There's a lot of people moving to Tennessee right now, which I think is pretty smart because you've got cheap energy down there. So it makes it a viable thing. So it looks like Barbara's screen locked up a little bit here.
Oh, no.
You there, okay? Barbara?
Yeah, I'm here. Is it not working?
Video's kind of frozen up. You know what you could do is you could leave and come back in, and we'll see if it unfreezes again.
How do you leave and come back in?
Let's see. There is here. I can actually kick you from the studio, and then you just go hit the link again. It'll bring you back in. Okay.
Okay.
Barbara's being kicked out already.
I kicked her out already. So what a way to start the day.
About that.
So she'll be back on in just a minute. Sometimes that happens. Technology is great as long as it works.
Yep.
And yeah, we work very hard at keeping it working. So tell me what you're doing down in Tennessee.
Well, right now, we bought a home. We built a home here in Chattanooga, and
that's a beautiful area.
Oh God, my desk looks at mountains. I mean, my office. It's just, we love it here. It's a red state, but you got to keep fighting for that blue not to seep in. So that's and then I'm on the executive.
There you go. You're back.
Okay.
What's that? Oh,
am I live?
Yeah, you're live. Just like that. Magic. Boom. Got it.
I'm impressed.
So yeah, have you been to the aquarium there?
Not yet, but we actually at a car show won free tickets, so we will be going.
Oh, very cool. It's fun. I remember being down there years ago, and we actually Chattanooga Choo Choo in one of the rail cars. Kids were little.
Yeah, we were just there. They have gorgeous restaurants at the main level, so we were just there the other night.
Very, very cool. So, well, what's going on? Where do we want to start? Do we want to start with Grammy Grizzlies, or do we want to start with what's going on with your chapter in Tennessee, Maria?
Wherever you want. I'm on the national team at Moms for America as the executive support manager. And, like I had said, we moved to Tennessee, and starting, I'm state liaison for Tennessee, and I don't know where we should go next, but if you are on our website, you will see that we are so excited to have our 20th anniversary summit and gala that's coming up February 29th to March 2nd. There you go. We're going to have speakers like Dr. Sebastian Gorka, General Flynn, Tim Barton from Wall Builders, lots of live performance from John Rich. So lots of, informative panels, live performances. I can't wait. It's our first ever. So we're really excited and all very putting it together.
Oh, I can imagine a lot of work. So I was at your last event, and I really thought it was so beautiful and so well done. And, talk about being with a great group of people who are standing for families and their children, both moms and grandmas. And it really, I had a great time there. I met so many wonderful people such as yourselves, and it was just an awful lot of fun. And so I would encourage everybody to take a look at their site, to go check out what they're doing. And can you give a quick synopsis of exactly what you guys are working on right now to fight for families in America? Because we're under attack. All of our families are under attack, and I'd like you to explain how you guys are active in that.
Okay. Well, as you know, Donna, there are so many fights, and we are there to help wherever the moms are in that fight. So, for example, if it's about, human trafficking, it's an all-encompassing, whether it's the porn books in the schools or the underage drag shows. We held a conference on that to educate the moms. We partnered with Epic Times, and they showed their documentary, and we had a panel of experts. So that's one way we fight. Another way we fight is educating the mama bears right in their homes with our signature class called the Cottage Meeting. And it teaches parts of the Constitution, about our forefathers, what parts of the Bible inspired them to write our document, craft our document. So we equip them right in their own homes. And then our 501c4, Moms for America Action, they can register to vote, they can look up their candidates, and they can also learn how to run for office. So they can run. We have a school board expert, Dr. Kelly Coles. She has classes on helping you run for office, and should you win, she stays with you and helps you to be a good steward of that office.
I'm looking at your cottage gatherings or meetings. And are they all on? Is this online, or is it all to have meetings on the ground where you actually bring people together?
There's so many different formats. You can do it right in the comforts of your home with a group of friends. All the videos are pre-recorded. They're there for you to look at for free. And we have a manual, a resource guide that goes along with it that you can purchase from our website. Or on a spring and fall basis, we do it live via Zoom. So there's so many different ways you can take that class, and we have it readily available, as you can see right there.
This is just incredible. And Kimberly Fletcher has done such a good job leading this organization. And she is truly a sweetie, and amazing what you guys are doing. It's phenomenal. How many members do you have across the United States?
Membership wise, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but I know the network is about 500,000 mamas that we have in our network with Moms for America.
That's amazing. And do you know how many are in Michigan? I'm kind of curious.
I'd have to ask our membership and education, but we do have groups in Michigan for sure. She's been working on.
Oh, that's cool. I would love to connect with them, because a lot of times what I'll do is I will get a hold of these groups. And then my whole thing is to try to give people a voice, because we've all been censored so much. So if I can be of help to any of them, let your membership know that if I can be of help to any of them, have them contact me. You've got my phone number. Go ahead and give it to them. And then we can try to help them build their chapter here in Michigan. And I think that it's helpful if you have some video and the interviews and stuff. So that's what I do, and no censorship down on here. They can come in and say whatever they want. And
we love you, Donna.
Pardon me?
We love you.
Oh, thank you.
No censorship, Donna.
Yeah, and no censorship, Donna. Donna comes on and says all sorts of things like, I am in fact a woman, my husband is in fact a man, and we are not confused at all. And it's like the horses aren't confused, dogs aren't confused, chickens not confused. Nobody's confused out here, unless people who are pushing an agenda.
Right.
And I think that's important. And all of this nonsense, with all of the gender mutilation stuff that's going on there, the infringements on parental rights. We should all be furious about this, because our children and our families do not belong to the state or anybody else. And those rights that they're trampling on. We had one proposal that passed here in the state, was absolutely unconstitutionally put in place, just like our 1963 Constitution is actually illegal. It's unlawful. They didn't pass it correctly. So are the same thing with the proposals. But of course, they just write laws and rules on the fly, to take those rights away. And they took away so many parental rights with this, and they just keep chipping away. So we have to stand together and truly stand together for what we believe in. And I think this is extraordinary. So what's going on with Grammy Grizzlies right now, Barbara?
Well, I'll tell you how it actually started. Way before Maria was part of Moms for America, probably about 7 or 8 years ago, I went to a conference up in Nebraska, the very first conference that we had, and met Kimberly and Sam Sorbo and just, all kinds of great people. And when I came away from there, I thought, you know what? I'm really a grandma, and there were all of this exciting people that were full of ambition and energy, but they were moms. And I was like at a different level because I'm in the grandma mode. And so I told Kimberly at that time, if you ever decide to start a grandmother's group, let me know. So last year, she contacted me because she was wanting me to help her reach somebody to be a Moms of Influence. And she told me about this conference in Mar-a-Lago. It was last year's Mar-a-Lago, not this year's. And I said, well, how do you get to come? And she said, I'm inviting you, come. So I went, and when I first saw her, she hugged me and she said, hey, about that grandmother's group, would you want to start it under Moms for America? And she called it something like the national director or something. I go, well, yeah, what does that entail? And she'll say, I'll get back to you. And then in January, she did get back to me. And we started our first group. And we've been working through Z, who is our, what is she, education? What is it? What?
Membership and education manager. Membership
and education. She sort of, it coordinates everything. And then we had Grammys. We started out with 7, and we lost a few because our first project actually was to start the Facebook page. And several of the Grammys that started out weren't really Facebook people. I mean, they didn't really like Facebook and they didn't want any part of Facebook. But we started off with the Facebook page. So it's Grammy Grizzlies Facebook page. And it's a private group. So we have to, you have to answer some questions to like get in. And then we just started inviting our friends and Grammys. And once we got to a certain level, Kim said, okay, now we're going to formalize a group. So that's the Grammy group, which we were talking about, that you can find on the internet site. When you go to Moms for America, under groups, you go to what we do, and you'll see that there's groups, and then you hit Grammy Grizzlies group. So I was interested in starting this because there's so many grandparents, grandmothers that are involved with their grandkids. I have 13 grandkids, and I spent a lot of time grandparenting them when they're, and I got real close to them. And you can be instrumental when you're around them to help, keep them on board with faith, family, and flag, or help them understand what patriotism is all about. So I feel real interested in reaching as many grandmothers as we can. My background is my mother died when I was 10. My dad kind of didn't really care about us, so he sort of handed us over to his parents, and they raised us. So, I have firsthand experience of how grandparents can be instrumental in your lives at a very early age. And in today's world, there's a lot of grandparents that are actually raising their grandkids, for different reasons. Maybe it's drugs, maybe it's death, maybe the parents are in the military and they're out of the country. But it's time for grandmothers, especially because, women, we get it done, to step up and be out there and help to ignite our grandkids and just the whole country. Because we as women, and especially grandmothers, I think that we can really have a good influence.
Well, it's biblical too that older women are supposed to be teaching younger women, and quite honestly, I don't think it's a good idea to just plan on sailing off in retirement into the sunset. It's like it doesn't seem to be a very purposeful life to me. There's so much work that needs to be done, and there's parents need help, kids need help. We need to build those strong community bonds as well as the family bonds. I mean, this is what it's all about. It's that it's the everyday life that we live that matters. The big things are great, but it's those small things that you just do every single day, and you just that's the backbone of this nation. It always has been, and the families are always that's the strongest, smallest form of government right there, and should be nurtured and respected. What are your favorite memories that you had with your grandparents?
Well, here's the thing. My grandparents were parents. It was definitely difficult. So, but prior to the fact, that they became my parents, when they were just my grandparents, I mean, heck, we used to ride our bikes to my grandparents' house, and my grandmother, I remember her marshmallow squares. Oh my gosh, those Rice Krispie squares. I mean, she had those, and I love that. And
now you're making me hungry.
when we were growing up, they had a box up in their attic, which is where we used to play when they were watching us, and we called it the box of Toysies. And believe me, it was not toys. It was like cans and just blocks and just little things, and we would make things out of, my brother and I, we would build things out of them. And I mean, that was fun. My grandmother, she would take a little cart, and we would pull the cart and go down the alley and walk to the grocery store. I mean, some of those things is never going to happen today. But, you know, it's like you spend time with them. And of course, she's not in my face saying, honor the flag, honor the family, but you feel it. You know, you feel a connection, and you know that family is important. And I think we've lost some of this. Now, I have 13 grandkids, and I have 3 sons, and each one of them, they have the same mindset as I do, and their wives have the same mindset as I do, or we do. And so I'm not really concerned about my grandkids, but I'm more concerned about some of the other kids that are growing up. So if I can just ignite something into a grandmother who is either taking care of their grandkids, or maybe their daughter and son-in-law, or son and daughter-in-law are kind of way out there, she might be instrumental in kind of bringing them back into the family first mold. Does that make sense?
Yeah, stability. Grandmas and grandpas have an amazing ability to be stability in society, and kind of a nice, easy way to just spend time. I mean, love, what love looks like is focused attention. So there's all kinds of good things that happen when grandpas and grandmas get involved with children and care for them. So that's awesome. That's awesome.
We actually lived in Louisville, Kentucky, and 3 years ago we moved to a small town in Indiana to be close to our grandkids, because my husband sold his practice and we didn't have to live in Louisville anymore. So we're about a half a block from my son, who has 7 kids.
Wow.
And honestly, we're not in their face every day, but they have to come through our yard to get to their friend's house. and so now we have met their friends, and we met their friends' parents, and then through that you meet their friends' parents' parents. So and there's a lot. I've got about 6 friends who actually grandmothers who moved to Jasper to be close to their grandkids. So, you know, it's all about family. And some people say, why would you move to a small town? And I said, well, because it's all about family. And, you know, one of these days when my grandkids grow up, I want them to say, hey, remember that time we went horseback riding with Mama? Remember that? Papa was taking our pictures of us. You know, that's the kind of stuff that I want my grandkids to remember. I don't know if you are close to I know you have a few grandkids, but that's part of this Grammy Grizzly. You know, just help other grandmothers, you know, with different problems that you have. For example, I have one granddaughter who lives in Pittsburgh. She graduated from college, and 2 that are in college. So, and then I have the 5 in Texas and 1 in Florida. So one of the things that we have on our Grammy Grizzly guide, which I'll tell you, you can go to our website and you can download the Grammy Grizzly guide for free. And it talks about what do you do if your grandparents are not next door. I mean, there's a lot of grandparents are at one place and their grandkids are someplace else. And we have listed some things that you can do. I mean, sometimes it's a matter of FaceTiming, it's a matter of texting, it's a matter of sending them little gifts, or it's a matter of taking a trip to see them and taking them maybe to different historical, patriotic places. And I will tell you, Donna, if you look on the website and go under, let's see, events, you can go to an area called Liberty Trips.
Okay.
And the Liberty Trips, I mean, they spell out for you in each state where you can take your kids.
Oh, this is
to
cool.
help them. Oh my gosh. When I was looking at this, you know, we're working on this Grammy Grizzlies and we're talking about, Z told us about this one. I'm like, holy cow. I mean, you could go to any state and it's there for you to do. And these are the things that I want to point out, and we want to point out on our Grammy Grizzlies Facebook page and then on the blog. So if you can't figure it out as a grandma, we got it there for you. I mean, there are places you can go, and there's all kinds of things that you can do, whether you're live in the same town as your grandkids, or whether you're, they're in another state. But we need to keep it together.
That's extraordinary. How far are you from the border of Michigan and Indiana?
Well,
How many hours? Just give me hours.
Probably about 5 hours, 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours.
4 or 5 hours?
Yeah, I don't know, because we live, do you know where Evansville, Indiana is?
Yeah, I do.
An hour from Evansville.
So there you go. You could take a trip up here and take your grandkids up here. That would be a really fun little thing.
Well,
play with horses.
Like, oh yeah. Well, so one of the things I do with my grandkids is we go horseback riding. Wow. And I just found out, I was interested that you rescue horses, because the place that I've been going riding is called the Wickham Ranch, and they have 26 rescue horses. And that's the horses, the horses that we ride. And, it's just, the kids love it, and I love it because I'm more of I like to go and do stuff with them instead of sitting down and play checkers. I'm more of a, let's go, like so I play pickleball, and I have a pickleball net, and they come over and play pickleball with me when it's not so cold. But it's just, but these are the things that we want to talk about when we get to our blog space on, Moms for America Grammy group, so that we can encourage other grandparents to be involved. One of the things that we're going to be doing is putting recipes. I'm a dietitian by profession, and my website is all about, I do lots of recipes, and a lot of the recipes are very simple, and most of the time, not always, but my grandkids have tested them, and they've told me if they're kid friendly. Sometimes, you got like this family here in town, there's 7 of them, and there's always 2 or 3 that won't eat something. So then you have to have plan 2. And Maria's laughing because I know you've got 2 boys. You're probably one this way, one.
Yeah, they're 20 and 23, and they're still fussy. So.
Well, what's your dietitian, your website?
Daybydayliving.net. Daybydayliving.net. My name is Day.
That's really cute.
And I'll do recipes, or one of the things, and I think I put this on the Facebook page.
Oh, this is nice. How pretty.
That I was struggling with is I have 2 grandsons that play basketball, and they're both on the thin side, and they want to be really good at basketball and soccer. And so I noticed that, in my opinion, they weren't eating enough. And so, in some subtle ways, I would say to them, like, well, you know what? You're growing and you're playing soccer and basketball. You've got all these calories. You need calories for growth and calories to play play basketball, maybe you should eat a little bit more, you know? And so then it got to thinking maybe I could write a story about, well, how many calories do your school age kids need, you know? And then if they do sports and you have to add that on, you know, and growth, there's a lot to it. So those are things that, you know, I thought might be good for grandparents and even mothers to know, you know, because my own sons, when they were in the growth stage, they spent a lot of time on the couch because they sleep a lot. But then, you know, you have to fuel them for their sport and then fuel them for their growth. So those are kinds of things. And, you know, when you educate grandparents, maybe they're not responsible for the meals, but maybe they're responsible for picking them up from practice. Like I do this constantly. I'm picking them up from practice, or I'm taking them to practice, or I'm taking them to games. And, you know, I'll say, what'd you have? What'd you eat? You got your water bottle? What'd you drink? You know, and so but these are things that we can talk to our grandparents about, that they could be instrumental in helping their grandkids kind of through the back door. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And you know, what's a really great thing is the older we get, the more knowledge we accumulate over an experience that we can share with each other. And that's a beautiful venue to be able to share a life full of experiences and, you know, and knowledge that, you know, you just accumulate, you know, and that's important. I'm into canning. I like to can, and I like to do that sort of thing. So there's not a lot of people that are younger that know how to do that. And so all of these things that were maybe older ways that we used to do things, those are wonderful to share too, you know, and just the structure. I find that older people tend to have a little more structure than younger people.
Well, you know, Donna, I met a gal. We have a monthly pickleball luncheon, and I met a gal who lives in Jasper, and we started talking. And it's interesting that you would talk about canning, because she has 3 granddaughters that live here in Jasper. And what do they do every year? They come over and they can. They can, you know, because they have the grandmother has a big garden, and they come over, and that's one of the things. And I said, do they like doing it? She goes, oh yeah, I feed them. We play music, we laugh, and I'm like, huh. So that, you know, we're going to be putting little activity days on our Grammy Grizzly guide. And I mean, how cool would that be? You know, but first, I would have to learn how to can. I'm just saying I don't can. But then, you know, if you had, you could bring some of your grandkids over. And you know what I found? That I've got a grandson who is in his last year of college. And he lives in a house for the past years. And who does he ask for recipes?
Grandma.
Me. Yes, because he's eaten some of my stuff. And my policy has always been easy. And so Reese will, you know, text me and say, Mama, you got that recipe for that Southeast chicken bean soup, you know, that I can whip. And it makes a lot, so he can freeze it, or, you know, the other guys in his house can eat it as well. But you would think a young man wouldn't be cooking, but, you know, I don't know if I had anything. I was instrumental in getting him to think about cooking for himself, but he's doing it. Mm-hmm. I guess I could put a star in my cap for that, but
that's wonderful.
I'm sure it's his mom.
But you know what? That's a great thing. It's like family working together. You're keeping them out of the McDonald's food problem, you know, the fast food crap that's out there. And that's a huge victory right there. If they're making their own food and they're focused on nutrition, that's just a huge deal right there. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not a person who, the whole body positivity thing. I'm going to be the one to say it. It's like, I'm sorry. We can love each other for who we are, but when you see somebody who is so unhealthy, they're going to die young. And it's a tragic misleading of this country. Doesn't mean that a person is a lesser person. It's that it is a tragic lie that it's healthy. And how many people, I was just reading something the other day, this body positivity crap, that it's leading people down the path to destruction. And nobody wants to talk about that, except I'll talk about it. When you're very heavy, it's like, I heard a statistic one time that if you're first of all, you're eating all junk, none of your organs, nothing's going to work right. You have to have nutrition. It's not just because it looks like food doesn't mean it is food. You need to get the diet down. And then also, I don't know about you, but my grandma was pretty raw with her assessment of things too. If she saw things that were wrong, and she was probably about 5'10", and on a bad day weighed about 128 pounds. She did some modeling when she was younger, but very, very educated and really into, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents and really into healthy type things. Mm-hmm. And, if somebody doesn't come out and say, look, all these people that are pushing this body positivity, look how long they live. There was a whole raft of them. And I just saw something on it recently. They all died because nobody had a chance. And they died young too. They were like in their 30s and 40s. And people are being misled. Where grandpas and moms and dads, they're going to tell you the truth because they love you, not because they're pushing an agenda. And that's hopefully by and large. I mean, how many ridiculous parents are taking their kids in for gender mutilation crap? And that's like, I look at it and it's sort of like Munchausen's by proxy when you see that kind of nonsense. Mm-hmm. It's mental illness to mutilate a child. And then when you look at the money behind it, I mean, I don't even know what to say. But the first line of defense to protect our children is the family. It's moms and dads. It is grandpas and grandmas that are willing to step in this insanity that's out there and say, hold the phone. We're not going to be doing this. You're not going to be teaching my children, grooming them in school. Because that's what it is. It's grooming, and we need to be flat out there. Some of these people are Marxists, and they're there to destroy the kids. They're not there to help them. Mm-hmm. And, parents and grandparents are going to say, man, I love you, and I'm not going to let you walk down this path because I love you too much just to pander to you, and I think that's part of it too, It's the fun. Also direction.
That's a whole nother show on the food industry and the, all what's going on. I mean, I could do a whole, how many days?
Yeah, well, you know what? You can come on any day you want. And we'll talk about this because we need to talk about this. Right? They're weaponizing our food. They've been doing it for a long time. And I mean, even looking at, I've got 130 some chickens that, that we just give our eggs away. We sometimes I'll let kids sell some of them and that sort of thing. But basically I just did it because I wanted to have something in place in case the food chain went down, because it's going to. They're buying up our farmland, and they've gone after so much of our food supply, and they're aggregating it underneath all of these big corporations. Mm-hmm. They want to cut the food supply off. They're going to do it. And so if we look at a healthier option of raising our own and locally grown, we're in so much better shape than prepackaged, eating bugs nonsense.
Well, I'm going to tell you about something that I'm kind of excited about.
Okay.
Of course, I could teach this myself, but it's called Become a Health Investigator. And take control of your life and health. And this is a seminar series that Moms for America is putting on. If you go under
See, we go into all kinds of areas here. This is like being on a, going down a hill on a sled and never know where the next bump's going to take you.
There should be upcoming events.
Upcoming events, and you can see that become a health investigator, take control of your life and health. I mean, how cool is that for Moms for America to be forward thinking enough to offer Moms for America and Grammys a series like this. I mean, I think that's great. So you'll find all kinds of things. But this is coming up at the end of January.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's all free. That's the thing. It's free.
Wow. It's really, really amazing. So, I mean, this really is amazing. There's so many resources here. Let's look at the classes here, the upcoming events. We've got Kitchen Table Lobby, 5,000 Year Leap. I don't know what that's all about.
That covers that's a book. I forget the author. I think his last name is Skousen, but it covers the 28 principles of liberty that crafted our Constitution. And our senior instructor, you see her with her husband. That's Julene and Al, and they do a wonderful job teaching the class together.
Oh, that's wonderful. We got Homeschool Mom. Yay, homeschool moms. I homeschooled my kids. And that was when they were trying to lock us all up because we were still fighting for the rights. And that's kind of a big deal, and I love homeschooling as an option. I really do. My kids did really well under that. In fact, one of my kids was graduated from high school at 10. Now, granted, he's got enough brain power for most, for 100 people, but he started college at 12. And but
oh my gosh,
it worked really well. Healing of America, Become Your Health Investor, Mommy Detective, Drama, Transform Your Children's Behavior, and then the gala. Let's take a look at this a minute. There you go. Oh, that looks fun. There you go. All kinds of things there, people. We need to, so that's the website's amazing.
I know. And, it was, I just wrote a blog on Grammy Grizzlies about the website, actually. And I was talking about Judy Privet. Yes. She's the web designer. And I have emailed her and told her personally, oh my gosh, because it was just updated. Maria, don't you think it's great?
We were chomping at the bit when she was going to release it. But yeah, for our 20th, she updated every facet of our website, and she's an artist. The content and the way it looks visually, she just knocked it out of the ballpark. She always does.
She just, it's unbelievable. Before it went live, we were able to see it, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Of course, I'm not I'm just me, but I'm like, oh, because it's so easy to get around.
It is very easy to get around.
The thing that I like about it is there's so many resources.
Yeah.
For moms, that it's just unbelievable. And the one thing, Donna, I was going to tell you about, that Debbie couldn't be on, because she's kind of on the sick side, but she does a podcast. Mm-hmm. And her podcast, oh my gosh, they are so good. And I try to get as many as I can, listen to as many as I can. And she actually interviewed President Trump. I'll just say that. But she, of course, I'm into the COVID stuff and all that because I'm a health professional. And she interviewed, I'm trying to think of Wolf. Naomi Wolf. That podcast is so excellent. But I tell Debbie all the time, I mean, her interview skills are very good, and she's, she does a really good job. But I usually try to listen to all of her podcasts because they're interesting, and they're really good.
Well, this is amazing. Looks like there's a shop on there too. Here, let's check out this. I like resources. I'm like a resource junkie.
So am I.
I love to. Let's see what we have for shopping. What do we shop for here? Okay, we've got there's a Grammy kit.
That gray top there, I just got it. I love it.
I think I want that one too.
Oh, and the Patriot Pack. Go up a little. The Patriot Pack. Oh, I don't have my glasses on. Well, there's a Grammy kit, and then there's the Patriot. I think there's a Patriot Pack somewhere, which is cool.
I see the member kit. Is that what it is?
No, the Patriot Pack is for children, and it has
it's got a lot of.
Here it is.
That's one of the pieces in there. It's a backpack, and it's got all kinds of. It has the Constitution written for children in it. And
it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is you certainly, you guys have hit all the main topics that are going to be of interest.
Donna, you can get this Grammy shirt. Let me model.
Okay, it's cute. I love it.
Okay, wait a minute. I got it. Can you see the back?
Awesome Mama Bears get promoted to Grammy Grizzlies. Yeah, I love it. That's so cute.
And you can get that on the website.
Yes, you can. And the Grammy Grizzly Guide.
I know.
That's
and you can download it for free.
That's really cool. I'm looking for that's got to be under resources here. Hang on a minute. Let me go back here to. I'm going to explore this whole thing here.
It's under resources, MFA booklets.
Okay.
There you go.
There you go. Hey, we got all kinds of stuff here to show people. Well, this is cool. So, the great thing about this is that there's so many different groups, and there's different things out there. If people know how to find the resources in the groups, they don't have to be alone. I mean, part of their strategy was to separate us so we couldn't talk and to isolate us, and it's kind of a predatory tactic to isolate people. And one of the best things that we could do, I mean, that's what predators do in the wild, is they isolate and pick off the weakest ones, right? The best thing that we can do is we need to stay together and not let anybody. I think there's a lot of talk about some more lockdowns coming, and Michigan was the poster child for how you shouldn't do it. And we gotta have some strategies sitting there, so if they decide to attack us again, that we know exactly what we're going to do. And these groups of friends where you are building relationships that probably will last a lifetime. When we build relationships around our families, those are some of the most, faith and family. And, I'll say faith, family, and flag, like, as you said, you are finding purpose in life that's bigger than ourselves. And it's not about money. It's not about materialism. It's not about all these things that corrupt people. It's about flat out because you care for other human beings and invest in it. Just even spending the time like with your grandkids and such. Think about what a huge investment in that. How many kids feel like they never had anybody that cared about them, that hit the streets, and they're lost their whole lives if they don't have that family structure. They'll go from one thing to the next to try to fill that emptiness in their souls. Well, you got a strong family who's there for each other, in good and bad times. That hole isn't quite so big in our hearts and our souls. So you guys are just doing an amazing job. That's fantastic. Do you want to talk about anything else that's coming up or that you'd like to talk about some more?
Well, I would say that if you go to the Facebook page, Grammy Grizzlies, yesterday, I think it was, let me see. Yesterday, Liz put something on called AmeriCorps Seniors Foster Grandparent Program. And when you were talking about these kids that don't have grandparents or their grandparents aren't involved, I was thinking about this program. You know, wouldn't it be great if at one point, my grandkids are all going to be grown. You know, the youngest is 13, or no, 11, and the oldest is old, no, out of college. You know, there is a time and a place maybe to not foster them and like have them live, you know, in your home, but there be like a grandparent friend to a child who didn't have a strong family. I don't know how you could jumpstart something like that, but it's AmeriCorps.gov. It's a program, a grandparent program, a foster grandparent program. But I'm not thinking it's about having grandkids live in your home, but maybe become a grandparent to some children and do stuff with them, you know, like read with them, take them to the library, go on some of these Liberty trips, play pickleball with them, you know.
Like a mentorship program.
Good.
Just even remembering holidays and birthdays. You know, we had people in our church when I was a kid that didn't have grandkids around them. And I'm going to tell you what, one of the gals' names was Betty, and she remembered my birthday. Not only until the day she died, she remembered my birthday, and she just always sent a card. And, you know, when I was at college and such, she always remembered. She was and it was one of those things that it's so nice. It's just such a nice thing. And, I don't know. There's tons of things we can do, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
absolutely.
Very cool. Well, I want to get in contact with the people in Michigan who have the groups here, and the Moms for America groups. What is typical? I'm going to take up a few more minutes here, just because I want to know what's typical, because I'm really pretty excited about this.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what could people expect out of a group that's a local group?
I think, you know, we always say the group is what you make it out to be. I mean, a lot of our mama bears will do the cottage meeting class in their home, but it's also, like you said, Donna, it's building that community and that camaraderie. And, you know, when a lot of us show up with the purple shirts at a school board meeting, we mean business. So it's you know, whether you're going to go to your state capitol, whether you're going to attend a rally, be in a parade, or, you know, just anything local in your community, have a booth at a fair and giving out information about Moms for America. So, you know, but it could be overwhelming, but Zaida, who is our membership and education director, she will walk you through it. And as you saw in our store, we have the membership kit too, which helps you get started. But it's so easy now with her. She just walks you through it and helps you start your group immediately.
Well, that's outstanding. That really is outstanding. So do you have a direct way to contact? Like, is there a phone number besides the website of Moms for America? Is there any phone numbers? Is there a way that they can contact you guys that makes it easy for them?
If you want to call, it's 937-477-5200. You'll get me. Or it's moms@momsforamerica.net.
Wonderful. So repeat those two again one more time to make sure people have it.
Absolutely. Our direct line is area code 937-477-5200. And then our email is moms, MOMS, at momsforamerica.net.
Very cool.
Now the other thing, you were talking about the state. If you go under who we are, there are some state liaisons that are featured under that, Donna. And I was looking to see if they had the Michigan person, but I don't see a Michigan person.
So is it the MFA team?
Yes.
Yeah. And then you go way down to the very bottom, and it says state liaisons. And it must not, I see Maria's name, but it must not have all of the state liaisons, because you said
it should be the amount we have at the moment. I don't know if there's any new ones popping on.
So.
Oh, there's a lot of people on here. Wow.
That's our national team right there, and at the bottom will be the state liaisons.
Yeah, you have to keep going.
There you go.
But I was looking for you to see if there was somebody from Michigan, but I didn't see one. But I do know, I was looking at something on the website, Maria, and I saw, to my delight, there's a state liaison in Kentucky. And before I moved from Kentucky, I was trying to get somebody to do it. And I talked to a lot of people, but then COVID happened, and all of that. So that was kind of that, because I thought, because again, I was more grandmotherly, and I wanted someone that was young and, just really, wanted to spend more time than I had. Well, knew more young people is what I should say than I did. So, but I saw it somewhere. I don't know what when I was getting ready for this radio show, I was looking all over the place for different resources. So that was something that I was.
A lot of good ways we get our leaders from, Barbara, is the cottage meeting. When we do it live via Zoom, our membership and education director, she keeps a lookout, and we raise up leaders that way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thanks, guys, for coming on today. It was really wonderful having you here. And anytime that I can help get the word out, and if you need some small videos, we could even do some small videos, and then that would be great. And so I'm gonna move on to my next speaker here. Let's see.
Yes, thank you so much.
I got to make sure that John just disappeared on me. He was back there for a minute, and now he's gone. Oh, there he is. So
we can go on your website, and I can get this and put it on Grammy Grizzlies.
Yeah, I gave you all the links this morning.
Okay.
And so all of those promotion links will take you back to this, on Brandenburg News Network. We're live on that, and we're live on Tor and some of the other things we added. Tor, we're trying to make sure we can get around the censorship, and if the internet goes down, I think we got a pretty good handle on keeping this thing up, even if the internet connections go down, which I think is actually really funny. So one of those things that tech people, and love doing is thwarting attacks and trying to get around it, keeping things up and running and secure. And so kind of having a good time with that. But at any rate, you guys are just absolutely delightful. And anything I can do to help you, you just let me know, okay?
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you. And thank you for all the work you do.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Well, you guys have a great day, and we'll be right back. Bye.
Bye-bye.
And welcome back to the second hour of Brandenburg News Network. I am Donna Brandenburg, and it is the 8th day of January 2024. And I want to bring on my next guest, Mr. John Stubbins. How are you, John?
Hi, Donna. How you doing?
I'm doing just great. It's so nice to have you here. Thank you so much for being on today.
Thrilled to be with you. How you doing?
I'm doing great. We're getting cold up here in Michigan. Yesterday I was on horses and riding in the snow, which is always a lot of fun. So we're getting ready for the cold weather to actually really set in. So
I'm just one state below you, so I'm feeling it as well.
yeah, there you go. We're all ready. You know, I look at you know what always happens when it first starts to snow? You can always tell who the people who have never been in a cold climate are, because they're all in the ditch hoping that one of us with a big diesel truck or something like that will pull them out, right?
Absolutely. I tell you, it was a lot worse when I lived in South Dakota when I was stationed there.
Well, there you go. Well, it's nice that you're on today. I want to let everybody know that John puts on amazing events. And I've been to a couple of his events right now, and just a phenomenal individual. We were down at John Rich's, and then at the President Trump, the rightful president of the United States, the golf course in DC. That was a lot of fun, and I always enjoy what you put on. They're just amazing. So what are we going to talk about today? You've got some movies coming out, and I want to show people your website here a minute so that they can know where to find you. There you are. And let's go home here. Get the squirrels working. There you go. And you've got so much stuff going on. It's just amazing. And truly an amazing individual. And I guess I just wanted to hear about what's going on right now.
Well, you know, it's interesting that you brought up events, Donna, because events are probably the very last thing that I do. That's something that we just kind of added to our already busy schedule in 20.
You have a radio broadcast too, don't you?
We have a television show.
Television show.
And we're just getting ready to expand that. We just added Pursuit and Pursuit Up. So we're going to be on, I don't know, 150 million households around the country.
Wow.
Which is great. But I you know, just, it's funny that you brought up the events, because the events were added last year as a way to raise capital for our documentary American Anarchy. And, but we're not really an events team. We're a TV show. We produce films. We've got a men's ministry. We conduct investigations through the show. I'm going to be going on Huckabee this weekend down in Nashville to talk about one of those investigations. In fact, so everything but events.
Yes, I like thinking of you first and foremost as events, because I've gone to your events and I see the quality of events that you put on. Because, you know, like for me, I've gone to so many events over time, and your events are a lot of fun with some really amazing people there. So you're connected to so many good people and give them a voice and bring the truth forward in so many different directions that
Thank you.
It's just incredible. You know, you can see people do things online, but when you meet them in person and you go to stuff like that, that's where it really shines. People really shine through, and you're just an amazing individual.
Well, thank you very much. And I tell you, if I had nothing else going on and all I did was events, we would be the very best at it. I guarantee you that.
Guaranteed. So let's talk about your films that you've put out and what you have going on right now.
Well, right now we are in fundraising mode to raise funds for a documentary called American Anarchy. And American Anarchy is a story, a true story, unfortunately, that starts back in 2015 with the Trump campaign and my friend Carter Page, who was a member of that campaign team. Yeah, you just found the official trailer there, which you can play for your audience at any time. But
yeah, let's play that a second.
Go ahead.
we. There you go.
Yeah, pretty cool. It's basically
cool.
It starts with the whole thing starts with Carter
It keeps
Page.
wanting to play. Hang on a minute here. I'm going to have to move out of this area. There we go.
There you go. The whole thing starts with Carter Page. They used, and when I say they, I'm talking about Hillary Clinton, the DNC, Obama, Biden, that whole team. They used these fake, illegal FISA warrants to get inside the Trump campaign. That's how they started to spy on the Trump campaign. So it all started right there. And then it expanded once President Trump got elected and he moved into the White House. The spying followed them. So the spying didn't stop once he got elected. It continued. And you can see the damage that was done by a whole slew of people, whether it's Peter Strzok or Lisa Page or James Comey or Barack Obama, John Brennan, Halpern, Stephen Halpern, all these bad actors. They all had a hand to play in trying to destroy the Trump presidency, to bring it down to its knees, and just allow him to get nothing done inside of his presidency as well, except fighting this Russia hoax. So this was the beginnings of the Russia hoax. Our documentary covers all of that beginning all the way through today.
And when is the new one coming out? Or you've got a bunch of documentaries, don't you?
Well, we're going to do a few of them that start with this one.
Okay.
And that carry on, because you can't have people sitting in their seats in the theater for 6 hours. So yeah, we're going to break these up. We're going to do several documentaries, but we're starting with American Anarchy.
So what was really interesting is doing some research. I was kind of in the research community for a while there and really following what happened to President Trump. And this is what I think people don't really understand, is that this thing was a setup from the beginning to the end, just exactly like J6 was, and to strip him of his rights and to keep him from being president, which I think all of us need to say, why were they so afraid of President Trump getting in there? Because he's an outsider and he was going to go in there and do the right thing. And he did. He was, in my opinion, he's the greatest American president we have ever had, hands down. He and his administration made the most change. He understood everything from tariffs, which was a setup to be able to redo the unconstitutional tax structure and everything. I mean, there's so many nuances there that if you didn't really pay attention or follow it, you would have missed it, because the other side was putting out so much propaganda. So to see what you're doing of actually telling the story so that people know what happened, how this happened, and what led up to where we are. And they still haven't gotten him out of the crosshairs. They're still going after President Trump, which is going after all of us. You go after the rights of one of us, you're going after all of us.
Well, and not only that, but you think, if when you dig into this thing, you find out what they did to Carter Page, okay? Because they used Carter initially, okay? But what people don't tell you, and what most people don't know, is while they did that, they destroyed Carter's life. So in the process of gaining entry to spy on the Trump campaign, they destroyed someone's life. Okay, his name is Carter Page, and they violated his constitutional rights. And then once they got into the White House, then they went after General Flynn. Right? Now, why did they go after General Flynn? Because General Flynn was going to conduct an audit which would have traced the money trail to the money that Obama and Biden and Clinton were stealing out the back door of the U.S. Treasury under the guise of the green energy incentives, the weatherization program, and they were feeding money to their friends. Stolen money from us.
It's incredible. It you know, you follow the money, you can always find out what's going on. And you know, there's so many people that have been targeted by they're Marxists. They're
Many.
There's so many people whose lives have been targeted and ruined.
But it began there. It
With
began
Carter
with Carter Page, then it went on to General Flynn, Roger Stone, and it just went downhill from there. And now anybody, you, me, anybody that's a conservative or a Trump supporter or a Make America Great Again individual who believes in that, a Christian, a veteran, a police officer, we're all targets now. If you're white, if you have white skin, you know, if you're Caucasian, you're a target now.
Hey, we just made the Southern Poverty Law Center hate speech extremist thing. I was kind of happy about that.
Right.
That was like one of those things that I think I might frame it and put it on the wall. Because,
we're all on that list, I think.
Yeah, you know, and they're using so many things to you know, psyops to divide us and to keep us divided, to keep us isolated so that we can't fight back and take our voices. You know, I think that's the one thing, you know, that you're doing and I'm doing too, is to try to have a venue to get people's voices out there and tell the truth.
By the way, Donna, whoever dubbed them the authority?
Not me. I didn't.
I know I didn't. Who are they to say who's racist and who's not? I say that they're the racists.
I got anytime that somebody, I've got a really funny story. There was a gal one time and she was selling the jewelry of her people, and it was in a public place. And I was so disgusted by it. I'm like, who are your people? She looked at me and I said, were you born here? And she's like, well, yeah. And I'm like, well, then we're your people. You know, I could sit here and play, you know,
Sure.
play the virtue signaling victim all I want to, like the rest of us, because we all came from somewhere. But you don't sit there and all of a sudden, you know, divide yourself up as superior to anyone, no matter what it is. That's not okay.
No, it's not okay. And here's the thing. This really is just the beginning, because what we're ultimately talking about here, when you get into the nuts and bolts of this thing, and you'll find out even more this weekend when I go on Huckabee, because we do investigations through my show, and we take those investigations and expose them. And it doesn't matter what level of corruption that we're talking about. It can be at the highest level, at the presidency, to a senator, to a congresswoman. Doesn't matter. If we find out about it, we're going to investigate it. We're going to expose it. And you're going to find out a lot more about Adam Schiff this weekend on Huckabee.
Yeah, he's a real slippery guy out there. He's had all kinds of nonsense going on, Standard Hotel, and all kinds of things that we should all be very, very concerned about.
He's a scumbag. He's a scumbag, Donna. And not only is he a scumbag, but if you look at this, just the recent history of Adam Schiff, he's caused this country a lot of damage and a lot of taxpayer money thrown down the drain because of his evil plans, because of his lies, the things that he's propagated just with the Russia hoax alone. Forget anything else, which there's much more there, but just the Russia hoax alone, the damage that man has caused. Now he wants to run for Senate. Okay. He shouldn't even be in Congress. Now he wants to run for Senate. And we've got to stop that, because that guy, he needs to be in prison right now.
Yeah, well, it's amazing how these people get in power and they stay in power and they never seem to go away. It's like a professional it's like a ruling class, and they
have no business, right?
They
there
have
is
no business,
but yet they come out with millions of dollars. Where'd they get that money?
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to work that way. They're supposed to go home and treat it as a duty and then go home and make money. But it amazes me on really how ill-equipped these people are. They've never written a paycheck for anyone. They've never had to really dig anything out of trouble. All they do is they show up, and if they don't have the money, they just have somebody print it, or they get it somewhere else.
Or maybe they're stealing it.
And stealing it, absolutely.
Yeah. And that's what we're talking about here. These people are desperate because they know that we're onto them. And so they distract. They throw anything they can against the wall to distract you from staying on the money trail. How did they get their money? How did Joe Biden get his money? How did Barack Obama get his money? How did Hillary Clinton get her money? How? Please tell me how.
Backroom deals and foundations.
Oh, okay. I tell you what, if Americans believe that, I've got a bridge to sell you to nowhere.
So, well, explain to me, because it's backroom deals and it's their foundations, and they're flat out. Look at what's gone to Ukraine. Guaranteed, that's coming right back into the politicians' pockets.
Look, I'm telling you right now, when you dig down deep and you find out what these people have done, not only is it worthy of prison time, but if you know what the word, and I guess over the years people have forgotten this word because we don't use it, I guess, anymore, but look up the definition of the word treason. And then when you look that up, look up the definition of the word high treason. If you understand that definition of high treason, that's what we're talking about. That's what these people have done. They have sold our country out to the point of high treason, where we need to hold them accountable. Because if we don't, they'll watch it burn. They don't care.
Well, what I see is it's like a parasite class of people who they just feed off of everything else. They don't do anything. They don't make anything. They're really kind of worthless. They just kind of fill a spot there, and they victimize it. They're a parasite. It's a parasitic mindset entity, and that's the problem that I see. Let's go back to now. Not everybody out there will know exactly what happened. I mean, a lot of people will understand what happened, but not everybody does with the Russia collusion. Could you
We're going to tell them.
Yes. Yep. Can you give people an overall right now of walking them through what happened? Because they were basing this on a Yahoo article, part of it, that, I mean, they were pulling stuff out of the air to create a narrative from beginning to end.
Yeah, they used a dossier from a gentleman by the name of Christopher Steele. Okay. All of this, again, was pre-designed. It's total nonsense. There's other characters involved like Stefan Halpern and many other people within the administration and in the deep state that were involved in this as well. But the bottom line is that they tried to blame Trump for this so-called Russia collusion. There was no Russia collusion. At the end of the day, that investigation's been done. There was no collusion. And that is why, even though they tried to impeach Trump, they couldn't successfully get it done. Does that make sense?
Of course.
If the evidence was overwhelming, then where is it? Okay? People like Adam Schiff said that the evidence was overwhelming. Okay? Well, when they held the hearings, where did that evidence go? I didn't hear it. Did you?
Nope.
I didn't hear any overwhelming evidence. So show me the overwhelming evidence, because we all know it doesn't exist. It's a fabricated lie started by the DNC, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden and all their friends, whether it's James Comey or John Brennan or Christopher Steele or Page and Strzok, and I can go on and on and on. It's a long list.
It's really, what's really disturbing about this whole thing too is how many of these people have ties to Iran and other foreign entities that we haven't even gotten into.
What
like
about Ukraine?
Valerie Jarrett, in Ukraine. I mean, all of these foreign entities that I don't know about you, but they sure look like proxies for the they're I don't even know if they're actual real countries at this point in time. It feels like they're just a proxy government of the deep state, and they use that. That's what it looks like. There's what I saw was that there's a couple of them in South America, Central America. There's Ukraine. You've got Iran. You've got a bunch of them that really they're not really standing as an independent country.
No.
We're funding them. We're staffing them. We're telling people to lie. Biden goes over to Ukraine and says, you either do this or you're not getting the money to bail you out. We've been paying for pensions. What is it? 500,000 people. We've been paying their pensions in Ukraine. We are funding all of this.
Let's back up for just a second, because you hit upon something that's very important there. Biden said, Biden basically threatened Ukraine.
He sure did.
And said, if you don't do what I tell you to do, you're not going to get this funding, right?
Right.
Well, guess what that thing was? People need to understand, what was it that he held over them and threatened them with? Well, here's what it was. Ukraine had members of their government, members of their legal community that wanted to come out and tell the truth about the Trump situation, right? And Biden didn't want that to happen. So Biden said, if you don't do what I tell you to do, I'm going to hold your money. That's it in a nutshell. Okay? They didn't want, when I say they, Biden and his buddies did not want Ukraine and their team of legal people to come in and testify the truth, because it would have ruined Biden, and he knows it, and it would have exonerated Trump. So that right there is the crux of the matter.
Well, and it's so outside of the norm for most of us of what we think is okay or what we think is going on, that the criminality is amazing. Just like all of the bio labs that are in Ukraine that we funded, the human trafficking that's been going on across this globe by the deep state. It is the unspeakable horrors that these people, these criminals that have infiltrated this nation have done. There's only one option for the future for them, and you brought it up. I've talked about it many times too. They've committed treason, and they're going to have to pay for their crimes.
Yes.
And that is up to and including the death penalty, because that's what comes with it. You play stupid games, you're going to win stupid prizes, and this is, and then go one step further with the crimes against humanity. There's so much going on here that if they make it through round one of anything, round two is going to be sitting there waiting for them. And there's no escape because they have committed so many crimes. And we cannot turn a blind eye. Even, politics has turned into this cult of personality nonsense. It's like I've been saying in Michigan, it's like Tiger Beat. Half of the state's looking at people and saying, "Ooh, this one is the most flirty. That one's the most flirty," and that's how they're voting, instead of having a professional job interview and putting people in place that are actually okay with doing the job. We had a big shakeup in Michigan this past weekend, and the Republican chair was removed. She had to be removed. The things that were going on behind the scenes, they're inexcusable. You cannot staff if you're going to staff a Republican Party with felons. I'm going to tell you right now, people have to be stupid in thinking that they're going to put people in place that are going to also be doing favors to their friends or staffing it with people who do not have the integrity to carry out the job in a governmental position.
Right. Yeah.
And we have got to look at these people and make that cut and say, I'm sorry.
Well, here's the thing. We have to be better than the Democrat Party.
Right.
Okay. Not their equal. We don't want to be their equal. We don't want to do what they do. What they do is they commit treason. Okay. That's what they're doing. We don't want to be that. Never.
Right.
We need to set the proper example and nothing less. Nothing less. So we either do it the right way or not do it at all.
What are some of the other problems that you're seeing in the United States of America right now? Because I know you're very well informed, and we all have our issues that are really bothering us. That float to the top for each one of us. Election integrity, human trafficking is mine. If we don't have free and fair elections, we don't have a country. The borders, the same thing. The borders, this forced vaccination nonsense. The fact that the corporations are owning this nation, and they're driving policy through funding efforts in the political realm. What are some of the things that are really on the forefront for you right now?
Yeah, well, number one is the border. Without a border, we don't have any semblance of a country. We don't have any semblance of a republic. We're not the United States right now. That's how bad it is.
Do you feel we're past that? Do you feel like we've already lost it?
In some ways I do. I think that we can recover from it, but it's going to take a monumental effort to put things back in place. And, we've lost our sovereignty. If people understand what that means, when you lose your sovereignty, what do you do? So, we're in real trouble. And let me tell you, the people that are coming across that southern border, and I'm just talking about the ones that are caught and processed. I'm not even talking about the ones that we call the gotaways. I work very closely with Tom Homan and Jason Jones and Border 911 down at that border. I know what's going on down there. Okay. And beyond, and human trafficking and drugs are just two parts of what's going on. It's much, much deeper. And it involves people in the United States. It's a whole ringleader full of criminals right here in the U.S., not even including the cartels. And we're following them. That's another one of our investigations. Big tech and taking away our ability to have freedom of speech, or anyone's ability to have freedom of speech. That's another big one. You mentioned these vaccines and all the mothers out there that have been, the mama bears that have been fighting for that. That's another issue. But look, if we don't have freedom and our sovereignty, you don't even need to worry about the next step, because it's not going to matter anyway. Elections, you can forget elections. I believe in free and fair elections just like you do. But how do you get free and fair elections when your country is overrun by illegals and you've got a party asking people to vote illegally, right? And then on top of that, you've got corrupt courts that won't hear the case. Now what do you do?
What's the answer from John's perspective?
The answer for me, we've got to get a handle on it. And that means first winning in an overwhelming election and beating them in spite of their cheating, which means getting out overwhelming numbers of people that have never even voted before. That's number one. once we take back the White House, then I believe you have to bring the military in, not only to get the illegals out, but to start arresting people for the high treason. I think it starts there. It is not a local police operation or a state operation. It has to be led by our military. They need to do the raids. They need to make the arrests. They need to hold the military tribunals and hold these people accountable.
That is music to my ears. I love it. I absolutely love it because every single one of them has to be cleaned out and gone. And I agree with you. The only way to really clean this thing out is going to be the military.
It has to.
It has to, because it's too big of a problem.
Yes.
And about the time you catch one, there's another 10 waiting in the wings there. They're like cockroaches that want to come out and infiltrate and such. I liked what Tom Holman said about he's waiting to celebrate mass deportation day.
He's right.
And he's absolutely right.
Yeah. And here's the thing. It has to be coordinated because you can't allow these people to try to hide evidence, move evidence, destroy evidence. We've seen this before, right? Hillary Clinton did it herself. So we can't allow that. And the only way to do that, you're going to have overwhelming numbers to make these arrests, to hold these tribunals. I mean, it's going to be a big operation. And not only that, to conduct the raids necessary to gather the evidence that we need, that's a big operation. That's huge. Like never before.
Well, I think what's kind of cool is that the deep state had formed all of these weapons and tools against us for surveillance. And the nice thing is that we've been able to use it back against them, just like them coming in and taking documents from President Trump at Mar-a-Lago and such. The great thing, one of the greatest things that President Trump has done is he baits. He'll throw the bait out there for them, and then they'll attack him so that he can use it, or that we can use it against the bad guys. He has set so much precedent for going back on the people that are accusing him. The man is an absolute game master genius in using the tools at his disposal to take down the deep state. And an incredible leader. And not just because, some people are great speech makers, right? No, administratively and game theory wise, he is unbelievable. Just so smart.
Well, and here's the other thing that he has that's equally, if not more important. You've got to have guts and resolve. And he's got both of those. And we have a lot of people out here that have neither. They have no guts. They have no resolve. In fact, many of them have already been bought off by the Marxists.
They're bought off and they're quitters.
Well, or they're criminals.
Or
they'll turn to the other side. They'll do both. I mean, look at someone like Mitt Romney. Okay. What does Mitt Romney do? What's Mitt Romney's purpose? How does he help America?
He doesn't.
I rest my case, Your Honor.
Yep, there you go. But look at, so look at the rest of them. Look at, I was just reading an article on the new speaker too, and what he has not stood for. And, they go in there and you think, okay, well, hopefully this next one's going to do a good job. And bam, they fall apart within 5 minutes. My whole thought on that though is, are they corrupted when they get in office, or are they already corrupt before and they're allowed or selected for that position?
That's a great question.
I think the only ones that get in office right now, because the system is so rigged, are the ones that honestly are allowed by the uniparty. It's not just the Democrat Party, the Republican Party. They're all playing ball. I mean, this thing was corrupt when you go back and you look at what was happening around the Bushes, the Bush crime family, that they were involved in this just as much as anybody else. Just
They
like
still are.
They still are. Just like the Clintons.
And by the way, let's be real clear about this, because I see this every day all over the country. There's conservative candidates that are running in all 50 states, right? And you'll hear from these candidates while they're on the trail, and they have no access to any help from the RNC, no help from the GOP. I'm talking about financially. Okay. So the RNC and the GOP, they've already got tagged who they're going to help financially.
You bet they are.
And if you're not in that, if you're not on that list, then you're screwed. And it doesn't matter how good of a candidate you are, what your message is, they don't care. You're not in the cool club. So if you're not in the cool club, they're not going to help you.
Yeah, but you're immediately voted off the island. I was attacked so badly. I was removed twice from the ballot illegally because you couldn't have Brandenburg there. They can't even say the name Brandenburg without, throwing up a little bit in their mouths because, it's like, that you can't say Brandenburg because Brandenburg might just go ahead and tell the truth and fire all their sorry behinds and ship them up. I told General Flynn one time, I said, I need 2 planes. I get in there at some point in time because I'm not stopping. I've got to testify at a hearing on Wednesday. I'm not stopping. It's like, need a couple planes. We're going to run those full time down to Gitmo or wherever we need to exterminate these people. And it's got to be, there can't be one of them that gets away. If they've committed treason, if they have, if they're guilty of treason or sedition, they're out of here. They lost their right. And you know what? Anybody else that's standing there that hasn't followed a lawful process, I honestly think that all of these people that have the actual illegal gain, like Jennifer Granholm, who was involved in insider trading. When you look at the $1.6 million stock gain she made in the electric vehicle industry, we need to claw all that money back here. And I'm going to tell you what, that goes back to we the people. It doesn't go to the politicians. And so bye-bye, they get to move on, find their happy spot. Hopefully they make friends with the worms or whatever it is. And their ill-gotten gain goes back to we the people and in a very humanitarian way. This is a problem because this is how they separate us too. They think that Democrats are the most compassionate and Republicans are just business and this, that, and anything. Well, you know what, guys, these are lies. They're all lies.
They
look
are.
At the open borders that started with the left, and we want to be compassionate. They created one of the largest humanitarian crises in the history of the planet. And they used Lutheran services, they used Catholic services, they used all of these 501c3s to accomplish human trafficking. And right now we've got a situation where they've got so many kids pouring into this nation. It used to be that they had a network of judges and doctors that would cover up for them. These kids would get torn up. The surgeons would sew them back up and the judges would cover for them. Well, they don't need to do that anymore because there's so many of them. They just kill them.
Right.
Move on. There's extra people there. We're just going to keep killing. And I can't even stress to people enough. And I know you're familiar with this too. It's like, it's in our neighborhoods. This isn't a border thing. Every state is a border state. Michigan certainly is because they can make people disappear here so fast. It's incredible.
Look, we've been talking about this for, year 4. We've been warning people about the border issue and warning them and showing them video, aerial footage, drone footage, helicopter footage, live video of murders. I mean, you name it. We've been putting a light on this issue. And again, I work with Tom Homan and Jason Jones, Border 911, and it's almost as though I think the American people didn't want to believe it. They just tried to put it out of sight, out of mind. But you're absolutely right. And I said this, and I've said, you go back and watch old shows of mine with Jason or Tom, or look, we've been saying this for so long. You're going to care when it appears at your doorstep. And guess what? Take a big whiff, because it's at your doorstep now. And you're only going to continue to see the increasing volatility that's caused by this in your life. And I'm not talking to you, Don. I'm talking to the audience out there.
Well, it's to all of us. It's to every single one of us.
To each and every one of us out here. When it gets to your doorstep and it starts affecting your everyday life, and I mean every artery of it, then you'll maybe understand what I've been saying. But I beg you to start caring and start learning, because you're way behind and the damage is done and we've got to clean it up now. And so if you can't get involved now, after you know what's going on, then as far as I'm concerned, you are part of the problem.
Apathy is a cancer on this nation.
That's right. When you know and you still choose to sit on your hands, you are now complicit.
One thing I know about Michigan is we have the I-94 corridor, and that corridor is a human trafficking corridor that they can run kids, because we have an international port here. And not only are they using containers and semis to traffic kids, every time I go past one, I sit there and I'm like, I wonder if this has got product in it, or if it's got children in it, or human beings. You have to ask the question.
Absolutely.
We had a gal that disappeared in Michigan here a little while back. She was at a party, and one of her friends saw that. So she called her and she said, I'm in trouble. I don't know where I am. Well, her friend got the police. They tracked her down to a container, and that's where her phone a friend, or the find a friend function, took her to. The cops refused to open that container up, and they found her dead 2 weeks later on the beach or on a shore in Africa. And people don't realize this is a clear. When you start seeing this stuff, like, I mean, a lot of us that have gone down this path and looked at this stuff, I can't even imagine what you and Jason and everybody down the board have seen. I mean, I saw somebody that was dismembered. I saw a kid get his heart pulled out while he was alive. This is so brutal. People have no idea how brutal this is.
Americans have no idea.
They're babies.
I mean, Americans have no idea that this level of brutality could come to them, because most Americans are going to say, well, that's against the law. You're not allowed to do that here. Well, who's going to stop them? Who's going to stop them? Every day I read in the newspaper how entire police forces in communities all across the country are just leaving. Where's the law enforcement? Everybody out there that wanted to have lawlessness and called for defunding the police, they're all getting their wish. Mm-hmm. So now what's the gripe? What's the complaint now? Now they care?
Yeah. Well, I saw something when Jason was talking about it too, to his point about, he brought up Santa Muerte and the clear and present threat, as people that are, people of faith. I'm a very committed Christian. And when we see the activity, the satanic activity that has infiltrated this country, that if people can't acknowledge that that's actually happening, they think this is like a myth or something. No, we're going to have to come face to face with this, because Santa Muerte is a death cult, and they believe in torture and death, and that they're going to be rewarded for this.
Yeah, but the problem, Donna, is that, and I'm a Christian man myself, but the problem is there's a lot, and I'm going to say probably most Christians out there believe that Christianity equals do nothing. Okay, that's not what Christianity is. Christianity does not mean do nothing. Okay, Christianity means be a warrior for Christ. Put on the armor of God. Step outside yourself and do what's right.
Yeah, do something and say something. I mean, and we get criticized for saying things because it's uncomfortable. And it's like, oh, a Christian doesn't do that, as they're looking at Gentile Jesus with a lamb on his foot. No, I'm pretty extra sure Jesus was turning over tables and calling them dens of vipers, because it was all about the money. This has been going on for a long, long time.
What are you supposed? I mean, look, if we don't stop this, nobody's going to. So you can sit there and say that it's not happening or try to pretend like it's not happening. I'm telling you, people, think about your World War II history. The Jews got led off to the slaughter getting on those trains, right? Okay. When is enough enough? When are you going to say, I'm not going to allow us to do this anymore? Just make that simple decision for Christ. Okay. I don't know about other Christians out there, but we put on the armor of God. We're in a battle. This is a war. And so I recognize that, and I'm not going to allow someone to kill you because I'm a Christian. I don't support that type of God. My God's not going to punish me for defending you. That makes no sense. So we need to rethink some things. And on top of that, if anybody understands the enemy within the church, my friend Trevor Loudon, he came out with a series on this. Our churches themselves have been infiltrated by Marxism. There is a split in the church. I don't care if it's Catholic, Baptist, Methodist. It doesn't matter the denomination. The Marxists have gotten inside our churches. And that alludes to what you were saying before. That's why the problem exists. Because the Marxists have infiltrated our churches. They're there. That's why, look, let me ask you this. Who negotiates with God on abortion? Who negotiates with God on homosexuality or LGBTQ or trans or all these other topics? I mean, who am I to negotiate with God? That's not my place to question God. So
it's his sandbox. We got to play by his rules.
I mean, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
Yeah, the whole trans thing, the gender mutilation, we've had a lot of discussions about this too, is that, I'm kind of a bring on the toxic masculinity right now. Come on, guys, step up and let's handle business here. And unfortunately, there's been such a push to silence men. I'm like, guys, I'm giving you all permission right now. Bring on the toxic masculinity. Be the guys that God created you to be. I have horses, and there's a big difference between a stallion and a mare. Stallion protects the herd. You don't negotiate it with a stallion. If a stallion sees the herd being in danger or threatened,
right,
he does not. He'll sit up and puff up, and it's like, do I kick your tail here or do I kick it in 10 feet? But you're going to get your tail kicked. We're not gonna put up with this. And they're not going to negotiate when they see their family. And
that's a good example to use right there.
Yeah,
because it's true and it's real and it's natural.
Yes. Well, it's how God made us.
That's right.
We are made in a certain way, and he knew what he was doing when he made us. And that it's like, my husband is a man's man. He is not going to negotiate. If he sees somebody that's going to hurt his family, watch out, because there's going to be no negotiation there whatsoever. And I've seen him do it.
And there shouldn't be.
What's that?
There shouldn't be. No negotiation.
No negotiation.
There should not be. And guess what? Make no apology for it.
Yep. I've never seen him apologize for it.
For what?
He'll if he's defending something that he believes in, and he will not apologize for it if he knows he's in the right on something.
There
and he
should be
doesn't
no
back
apology.
down either. And it's funny. People always say to me, I've got a CPL, and they're like, you should be carrying all the time. I'm like, I got this guy, and he loves this stuff. So, he lives for it.
God bless him. I love him.
Yeah, you'd like him. He's funny. So, but yeah, it's just really an amazing thing. When we look at it, even the Bible talks about the fact that no one is without, is with excuse. All you have to do is look at the way that God made this world. We don't have any other species that kill their children.
Yeah.
They don't kill their children. They don't try to abort a baby. They don't do all this sort of thing. It is just, it seems to me like the only true inhabitants of this planet that actually goes out to hurt each other is people. And it's really sad. You have to almost wonder if people, when they lose their souls and they lose that humanity, they lose that empathy, they lose that ability to step forward, and you got to wonder. I mean, I've got a lot of questions about that. I might not know exactly how it works, but I do know that we're supposed to follow God Almighty, and that He's here with us every day, and also walking through all these problems. He has the answer. We just have to seek Him, and He will show us exactly what we need to do to fix this. He's faithful. He will never abandon us or forsake us. And, for anybody out there that's feeling really alone right now, or depressed about how the world is going, you know what? You got people out here that are fighting every day. Look at John. John's out there fighting every single day, and all the people that are around him for lawful processes to get the truth out there, not backing down to anyone who is a threat, both domestic or foreign, either one. They're not going to, these guys, we're not going to stop.
No,
there's no stopping here. There's no negotiation with criminals. There's no stopping. This fight is going to end. We might run into some problems here and there. We just have to sit back and go, well, think to the bad guys, think through your next step very carefully. Because there's going to be an action, and it's going to be a lawful action. We're not a band of criminals out here that meet criminality with criminality. We've got the law on our side, and that's the most beautiful thing, is that we've got God on our side, we have the law on our side, and we're taking this nation back, and we're not asking for permission.
Yeah, and not only that, but the rule of law right now is kind of like hanging there in suspense, right?
Right.
But if we're going to have a nation, we must have rule of law.
Absolutely.
Okay? If we're not going to have rule of law, then let's make the agreement that everybody's going to be on the same rules, and we're going to be in the Wild West, okay? Because it's one or the other. You can't have your cake and eat it too. But if we're going to have rule of law, then we've got to have it across the board for everyone. And that means everybody that is doing bad things has to be held accountable. That's the end of the discussion. There's nothing else to discuss beyond that. And if we can't agree on that, then we're going to have a problem.
I agree with that. We just got to keep going. Well, this is really fun to talk with you, and I love what you're doing. And I'm glad we went off in a divergent way. We got to talk about lots of subjects. I love that. So here's John's website. If you go there, you can certainly become familiar with the work that he's doing with the investigation, as well as you probably have a way to donate here too.
I do.
And
yeah.
I'm gonna try to get down here to her. See, there's our buddy General Flynn. He actually is the reason why I really got into politics.
Carter Page is in the middle there.
Yeah, there's Carter Page.
Yeah, he's right in the middle between Trump and Flynn.
I actually texted him. I'd like to get him on the show too. And just amazing people. But you know what? It's like you can go here and you can go ahead and support John and help get these. One of the greatest things that we can do is make sure that we help educate people. And it's johnstubbins.com. But we need to educate each other, and filmmakers and storytellers that tell the truth, the real story, are so valuable. If we don't move into that area to get the message out there of what really happened, the criminals in the mainstream, the fake stream media are going to continue to lead this nation astray because they're not accountable to anything. They can say anything they want.
That's right.
And because they own all the airways, we've got a problem. So we really need to get in there and help people like John.
We need to work extra hard to overcome them, because you're right, they own the airwaves. So for us to get a documentary made, you have no idea the amount of work and fundraising involved just to get the film made. Okay. So I plead with everyone out there, please help us. We are in full fundraising mode to be able to make this documentary and get it into your hands, your capable hands, to make decisions based on the information that we provide you through our investigative work. So, I'm not one to ask people for anything. I'm a proud veteran, but right now we need your help. We need your donations. I admit it. So
thank you for your service.
Oh, my pleasure. Pleasure.
Where did you serve?
I'm sorry?
Where did you serve?
U.S. Air Force.
Okay.
So, yeah, but now's the time. And people say all the time to me, what can I do? We need you to donate. Put it in the hands of someone that can do something with it and help make a difference. And we can certainly do that, but we need your help.
Yeah, that's awesome. And where can they find you? When is your show on for everybody so that they know how to find you and your show, to listen to your investigations and to help be educated? Because the work you've done is just extraordinary.
Well, our show is on every Tuesday night on Hunt Channel, and we're getting ready to add to that Pursuit and Pursuit Up, which are two additional networks on digital television. So it's going to put us in about a total of 150 million homes. So if you have a smart TV, a Roku TV, an Apple device, it's all on my website. If you go to johnstubbins.com, it shows the list of the devices that will allow you.
Show me where to go to find it here.
Yeah, scroll down.
A lot of times I'll go through this with people just because if they see the process, they're more likely to go.
Yeah, scroll down a little bit. Keep going. Right there.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, so you can see the times that our show airs on Hunt Channel, and we're adding Pursuit and Pursuit Up, which is going to look at all the additional mechanisms that are connected with Pursuit and Pursuit Up. It increases our level of availability, basically.
That's fantastic.
So it'll put us in a lot more homes, and we'll be over there with our brother Ted Nugent, and we're very excited. I mean, we get about 1 million viewers a month on Hunt Channel right now. So, every Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, we're on Hunt Channel. But we're gonna add to that very shortly here. So we'll be on Hunt Channel on Tuesdays, and we'll also be on Pursuit and Pursuit Up. So just check back. We're going to be adding to this website information about the two new networks, Pursuit and Pursuit Up. But it's coming. And additionally, we're going to be launching a new coffee line with General Flynn that we just did a licensing deal on. So
that's cool.
Outstanding coffee.
What's the coffee brand called?
Well, it's called American Anarchy Blend, which is our dark roast. Indivisible with John Stubbins Blend, which is our medium roast. And then a pound of coffee, which I like to call our Don't Tread on Me, which is our breakfast blend. So 3 blends that we're going to be offering in ground or whole bean, and you can get them in a pound or I think it's 12 ounces, either a pound or 12 ounces. We're going to be launching that within a couple weeks, and we're very excited about that because the coffee, I've taste tested all 3 blends, and I'm a coffee snob. It's amazing coffee, like really good.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you have to send me a text or something when you got it launched, and I'll buy some coffee for you.
Oh, thank you.
I like to buy from Patriots and either local or Patriots, people that I know, so that, it's another great way to support efforts by other Patriots to move the bar a little bit for taking this nation back.
You won't be disappointed. It's really good coffee.
Oh, that's good. That sounds great. Well, you know what? Let's say a prayer here going forward, and then we're going to end. We'll end today, and thank you for coming on. And I'd love to have you back on again. If you got anything to talk about, if you want to talk about any of your investigations, I'm all about that because I find that kind of stuff to be absolutely phenomenally interesting.
Well, I will tell you guys this, this upcoming weekend. So today is what, the 8th?
Yes.
This weekend, I'm recording on the 11th, 12th, 13th, the 13th and the 14th of January. I will be on TBN Network, I believe it is, maybe also Country Music Channel as well. But I'll be on the Mike Huckabee Show this weekend discussing the Adam Schiff investigation. So don't miss that.
That's fantastic. So awesome. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so very much for John and for Barbara and for Maria today, everybody that was on. And I ask that you would give them your favor in every single thing that they do, that you would bless them, bless their efforts, that you would bring people around them to help them, that you would open people's hearts, eyes, and minds to the truth that's out there sitting right in front of us. It's your truth. And we ask that you would guide us and direct us in every single thing that we do today and every day. We love you so much. And there's the beauty that you've created around us, the work that true patriots before us, our founding fathers and everyone that came before us, who really wanted a nation that was reflective of your will and protecting the rights that you've given all of us as individuals, and finding ways, legal ways, to guarantee that. You've led us through so much, and our country has just gotten off base a little bit, and it needs a little bit of maintenance. And we know that anything is redeemable. Any person, any action, and any troubles is always redeemable when you are here. You fix the things that we screw up on and that we've let go too long. Well, I tell you what, we're all wanting to do what you want us to do. If you ask us a question or have anybody ask us a question, the answer is always going to be yes. Will you do this? Yes, we will. And help us to see the need around us, that for the people that are in our lives, help us to show them that we care first and foremost by helping them if they have any needs, or just sitting there quietly with them, or just letting them know that they're loved and that they're not alone, as brothers and sisters should. We know that we're never alone because you're always with us, and we're always grateful for our time together. Help us to always remember to put our relationship with you first, so that we focus on you, that you're speaking to us, because the world isn't so scary when we're walking with you, because there isn't a threat that's bigger than you. There isn't a problem bigger than you. There's only answers. There's only love, and there's only repairing things that we feel that we've lost. We've never really truly lost anything as we walk with you in this life. We just learn and get smarter, and we're thankful for the lessons. Thank you so much for the beautiful day that's ahead of us. You're a great friend to us, and we want to be a friend to you too. We love you. In the name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
So there you go. So this is where I go. Okay, here you go, guys. Go to BrandenburgForGovernor.com, because I am the best non-conceder who has ever not conceded in the history of the United States. And President Trump, he agrees. The rightful president of the United States agrees. I'm sure he does. I hope to ask him that someday. But at any rate, just want to let you know that you're not alone. Don't feel like you're alone. Reach out to any of us. We've made it easy so that you can reach out to people who care about this nation. And just to let you know, we love you. Heart hands time. We love you. God bless you. God bless all those whom you love. And God bless America. Make it a great day. If you don't have an example, be one. It starts right here. Get mentally tough. We got a little bit of a road ahead of us, and that's okay because we're going to do it together. It's going to be a great adventure, and we're going to have a good time doing it. So have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow with John Tater and Courtney Turner, Constitution as well as Real History. Have a great day. Just stay on the line for a second, John. Okay.
God bless you.
God bless you.